program for this show? Oh, you want one. It's got the names of the people in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. And you can even buy the book. As I've been led to believe, and I believe that is the truth, that the stories today are coming from this ebook, which you can buy online for it's like $6. That's like not very much money. That's great. Support your artists by buying their art at full price. That's what I always say. I don't care if they're your friends. If you're your friends, you'll fucking pay for it. Yeah, come on with that shit. Before we get going, I just want to say back in the booth is Maggie Wagner, and yesterday was her birthday. So that's always fun. Let's keep that big birthday energy going. Today we have, I'm really excited for this one, guys. Today we have an excellent group of plays for you. It is the Ludlow Doghouse Players presenting Ludlow, Charlington. God damn it. There's so many words in this shit. The Ludlow Charlington Doghouse, the plays. It is the Ludlow Charlington Players.
Before we start the plays, I just want to say I'm Tina Jens. I'm a writer, editor, fiction show producer, and the director of the show, Ludlow Charlington's Doghouse. The plays are taken, as he said, from this ebook over here. It was a year ago this week.
Whoa.
It was a minute ago that I dropped. A year ago this week that the project got its start. I was going through a long-term pandemic-related writer's block. My husband had gone out for a walk and came home excited. I found your new coffee shop. You're going to love it. We went to Ludlow Charlington's coffee shop the very next day. On the walls were these magnificent portraits of dogs, dog faces photoshopped into historical costumes, and then framed with these lovely, gaudy, ornate gold frames that just made everything look like royalty. I began writing flash fiction, which is very short fiction, poetry, songs, lyrics about each of the dogs. It wasn't for publication, it wasn't work, it was just a game I was doing to try to break my writer's block. Because I had nothing else to turn into my writer's workshop, I turned the dog pieces in. And the workshop challenged me to dig deeper in the characters and plots to expand the stories. I started talking with Naji, the coffee shop owner, who told me they were the faces of dogs at the Chicago Animal Care and Control Shelter. The shop sold merch with the proceeds going to support the charity Friends of Chicago Animal Care and Control. I hadn't quite finished writing the 11 stories, one for each dog portrait, and I didn't think I'd have enough page count to actually justify publishing the collection. So I reached out to other writing friends, and they reached out to their friends. And what we wound up with was 19 authors and 34 stories, poems, plays, and songs, even a music video by a New Orleans musician. Ludlow Charlington's Doghouse, the ebook, is available from Amazon. You can easily search for it at tinyurl.com/bow-wow. There is also a QR code on the playbill. These are the 3 plays published in the book. As in these plays, as in the rest of the book, there is no significant violence done to or by the dogs. It is a book filled with a lot of happy endings. As with most of the pieces in the book, these plays feature anthropomorphized dogs and very few humans. The only human featured in these 3 plays is the pirate king Jean Lafitte. So sit back and relax as we bring you dog kings, dog fashionistas, dog pirates, and dog spies from the Ludlow Charlington Players.
Woo!
Slobber and Snarl by Carissa Menifee. Characters: Sir Slobber, Snarl, Prince Pitpup. A throne room of sorts, with fancy drapes and pretensions of grandeur. Up center, a magnificent plush floor pillow, flanked by 2 smaller ones. On either side of this trio stand precariously tall, carpeted feline towers. Sir Slobber enters, wary, checks each tower to make sure it's uninhabited.
The coast is clear.
Are you certain, sir?
Trust me, Snarl.
Snarl enters, even more wary.
They can hide anywhere, you know.
Did you check the drapes? I would know if they were here. You forget that I'm super sensitive, trained to sniff out hidden truths and secret identities.
But they are so sneaky, always accusing me of barking up the wrong tree in my old place. Maybe I'm doing that now.
Settle down. Enjoy.
Are you sure they will accept me, Sir Slobber?
Certainly.
I mean, who am I anyway?
Oh, buck up. Have some confidence in yourself.
My family has no pedigree. I've been living in a shelter all by myself. I lack proper training, proper
Settle
neckwear.
down.
Waited all this time for someone to...
Here you are.
But...
Here you are. Look around.
Am I supposed to bow?
What?
Royalty and all that.
No. You're a member of the family now.
I think this is all a terrible mistake. Consider my background, where I come from. Rescued on the brink of...
All behind you. Look at you now. You are not defined by the past. You have a hopeful future ahead of you.
This all seems so posh.
There will be work for you to do. We all need work.
Can I watch the door?
Probably.
Can I tell everyone when the mail arrives?
That would be useful.
Can I chase the cat?
No.
Can I chase the squirrels?
Squirrels?
If they get too close to the prince.
You expect a squirrel invasion?
Always a possibility. If I know anything, I know that.
We'll take it under advisement.
Thank you.
For now, you're not allowed to chase anyone in here.
Not even the...
Especially not.
I might need additional training. I'm in recovery, you know.
I know. You'll have all the resources you need.
Maybe we should go now.
He'll be here soon.
I'm nervous. I might start chewing my nails or chasing my tail. I sometimes get distracted.
It happens to the best of us.
Oh, not him. He's perfect.
You know, he also had humble beginnings.
What?
An orphan. Adopted in the nick of time.
I don't believe it.
All true.
Remarkable.
I hear him.
But I'm not ready.
No one is ever quite ready for a new life. It begins anyway.
Are you sure I shouldn't bow?
Prince Pidpup enters, head high, regal, remarkable, really. Snarl hides slightly behind Slobber.
Sire, may I introduce the newest member of the family, Snarl. Snarl, it is my honor to present you to Prince Pidpup.
Sire, I can hardly contain my excitement.
And yet you do. Your training serves you well.
Thank you, sire.
As you know, this is a new leash on life. You will need a new name.
A new name?
Sit.
Snarl tries, but his tail is wagging too much.
I said, sit.
Slobber puts a firm hand on Snarl's shoulder.
Sit.
Snarl sits. Pidpup pulls a beautiful fetching stick out of his pocket. He knights Snarl.
Heretofore, you shall no longer be known as Snarl, but as Sir Snuggle.
Snarl wags out of control, spins in circles.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you!
In recovery,
Yes, sire.
Sir Snuggle,
Snarl freezes, attentive.
welcome home.
Tails wag, lights down.
Always Be Fetching by John Wagley. Lights up the lush green field. I'm not a dog in this one. Lights up the lush green fields of Mongrel, Montana. Bailey the bully, a white and tan pit bull, runs around with a stick in his mouth. After a moment, The sky fills with smoke and flashing lights and the hiss of hydraulics. A flying saucer has landed on these quaint surroundings. ZZ Top's sharp-dressed man starts blaring from the spaceship as an entrance ramp whirs open. 2 3-foot-tall gray aliens, Giorgio Arvani and Kanani Versace, swagger down the ramp. They are dressed in outrageous outfits one might expect to see at a gala dinner put on by inmates at an insane asylum. Bailey the bully wags his tail excitedly, thinking these are beings that will play with him.
Behold!
It is us!
Giorgio Arvani
And Kanani Versace!
designers for dogs.
From the farthest stars.
Specifically, we bring provisions.
For pit bulls.
We've come all the way from the canine cluster
Behind the bowsy-wowsy clouds.
of the Hound Galaxy.
Witness our splendor.
The aliens turn slowly, posing so that Bailey the bully can take in their opulence. Bailey the bully drops his stick at their feet and barks.
Look at you.
Naked as the day is long.
Nude.
Overtly bare.
Exposed to the universe in all your shame.
We have come to mend that malady.
With a blast from our fashion array.
Bailey the bully picks up the stick and drops it again at their feet, barking several times.
Rather than running around
In the raw.
in the buff.
In the altogether.
Wouldn't you like to wear one of our luxurious celestial garments?
Bailey the bully whines and sits up on his hind legs, begging the aliens to throw the stick.
With one zap from our fashion array, you could be clad in
An evergreen tunic.
with burnt umber tassels
An eggshell silken cravat.
and winter white sash,
All topped with
a midnight blue cape
with bone white interior.
covered in Venusian amber leaf,
Stitched by
the finest seamstresses.
in the wagtail nebula.
Bailey the bully picks up his stick and runs in circles around the aliens, periodically rubbing them with his big friendly head. Why won't they play?
Let's try the outfit out for size.
The pit bull is suddenly... They shoot Bailey the bully with the fashion array. The pit bull is... Whoa, hey, there you go. Fashion array. The pit bull is suddenly dressed in the tunic, cravat, sash, cape, and other ridiculous pieces of fine clothing. Bailey the bully gives a surprised yelp.
Doesn't this Epicurean ensemble feel so much more appealing than
Running around,
unclad
unclothed.
and uncovered
These accoutrements could be yours.
for the low, low price
of 80 million Deutschmarks.
Bailey the bully lets loose a confused growl at this outrageous price. He tries to pull the outfit off with his teeth, tugging and tearing.
Versace, reverse the fashion array. Don't let the varmints destroy the garments.
The ridiculous costume disappears. Bailey the bully gives a happy bark.
So, you're not a fashionista.
Fine.
Bailey the bully picks up his stick and tries to nudge it into one of the aliens' hands.
You frumpy scruff muffin.
Your loss.
Continue your deficient existence.
Disrobed.
Divested.
In dishabille.
Let your indignity be your livery.
Giorgio Arvani and Kanani Versace climb back aboard their flying saucer. They talk as they ascend the ramp.
Provisions for pit bulls didn't go well.
Tell me about it.
Luckily, I have a new idea.
What is it? Dresses for dachshunds? Belts for beagles? Socks for salutes?
What if we made swimsuits for shih tzus?
Inspired! I I love it!
The starship returns to the sky with much pomp and circumstance. Bailey the bully watches it leave, laying his head on his paws, sad that no one will throw his stick. Lights down.
The Dread Pirate Rover by Tina L. Jens. Dramatis Personae. Dread Pirate Rover, dog of French descent, pirate captain of the double Dog Dare, former lover of Roxy Rapinoe. Roxy Rapinoe, dog, semi-retired French counterintelligence agent under the command of Ludlow Charlington. Dressed in the uniform of a black musketeer, complete with belted sword, she carries a large duffel or laundry sack filled with bribes for a Louisiana pirate king. Jean Lafitte, male, human, long ago French expat, captain of the Pride, pirate king of the Louisiana bayous and the pirate hideout at Barataria Bay. Time, late 1909.
And that is why I have swum through waters with magical singing morays, scaled the bluffs of delirium while giants threw buttercups at me, and traversed the conflagration mire wherein I fought to the death a nest of vermin with weight problems. You are my final challenge. Will you be a friend and help me? Or are you going to be just another obstacle?
She takes off the musketeer hat and gives a sweeping bow.
Shall we be friends, Captain Jean Lafitte, Lord of Barataria, feared leader of this band of corsairs, brigands, and pirates?
That is to be seen. How odd your tale is, Roxy Rapinoe, lady in waiting to the Queen's second favorite dog, mistress of French counterintelligence. Sounds straight out of a fantasy book. Pirates, outre monsters, giants who throw flowers, princesses, mires with fires rather than water. Next you'll be telling me there was a miracle worker and a six-fingered man.
Come now, you're a pirate king. I fought eels, you have alligators. I've not seen a giant in these lands, but really you must have some tall people here who are flower obsessed. I traversed a flower mire. Have you surveyed all the swamps and bayous here? Can you be so very certain there are none with patches of conflagration?
We traipse through these swamps with great frequency, but none could traverse every centimeter.
You're in the New World. They use inches and feet as measurements here, have since 1893.
Yes, but France developed the metric system in the early 1790s. Though Bonaparte, that haughty little cretin, banned it briefly, I grew up using it. And to use feet instead? Everyone's feet's different lengths. It makes no sense, I tell you.
When in Rome and all that.
You make my point. Romans also used feet, but not the same as the American foot.
Americans have big feet.
And Bigfoot, but not usually around here.
Speaking of monsters, you have an animal you call a nutria? What is that but a vermin with weight problems?
That's more than fair. Say, are you a princess by chance?
Well, technically, the queen dog is a distant cousin. You and I are both from France, and we have both traveled the world on our adventures. We have seen things the bourgeois would not believe. That does not mean they are not real. My story is no fairy tale out of a fantasy book or a performance to entertain the masses.
Are you quite certain? No matter. We also have the occasional rougarou around here, you know.
What's a rougarou?
A Cajun version of a werewolf. It has an odd preoccupation with punishing misbehaving children.
And you called my monsters ultra? Does it eat the children?
It seems so. The brats are never seen again at any rate.
You think all children are brats? You're no father, I take it.
No, I mean, I never had the time, but man of action, travel for my work, didn't seem fair to leave a spouse alone to cope with everything for months at a time, but learned the hard way when a girlfriend saw the poster when Governor Claiborne put that $500 bounty on me.
What happened?
When I came home, she threw a bunch of dishes at me, fell apart, left for good. Then I put a bigger bounty out on the governor. No, neither one of us wound up having to pay up. Look, it's not like I approve of what the Roo do.
But you're not hunting them to extinction.
I'm a seaman. A pirate, at that. Hunting monsters is not my job description.
It just seems rather extreme. The purpose of punishing children is to correct their behavior. You've gone native in all the worst ways. Where I'm from, we don't believe in capital punishment. For humans under the age of 12, or dogs under the age of 2.
How very enlightened. The French and the Spanish have all but given up on Louisiana. The Americans own it now, and there's not 2 bits of civilization or manners in the lot of them. My pardon, mademoiselle. Let's soothe rancorous feelings with a bit of ale.
He pours them both a flagon of ale. He quaffs his. She sips hers.
You've spun an excellent tale. Made some fine points about social welfare, but what is it you want from me?
I need your help to get close to the dread pirate rover. Suffice it to say, we have history together, and did not end well at our last parting. I'll never be able to get close to him on sea or shore on my own. But were I to hide away until the ships were rail to rail, I could get aboard in a flash. Aside from that, I ask no more of you. In fact, it would be best if you left post-haste. What happens after I board is no concern of yours. No blame shall fall on you if I fail my mission or lose my life.
You would have me betray one of my brotherhood because the Queen and that pompous prank, Ludlow Charlington, who thinks he's the fixer behind the Queen's throne, bids me so.
You're a pirate. No one expects a pirate to do what a queen or government fixer requests. At least not for free.
She thumps a big bag of various bribes before him and bids him open it. He digs through the bag, holding them up one by one. Mardi Gras beads, cigars, candies, gold coins, other items that will bring a laugh from the audience. He continues sorting through them as they talk below. His integrity begins to slip.
I can tell you're a reasonable woman, so let me share my conundrum. The dread pirate rover is a frequently respected, unusually fair, reasonably competent captain who just got his official paperwork from Cartagena to be a corsair. It's out of my hands. He's official.
Pish, posh, and pisha. Sorry, some of the swamp grass must have plugged my ear. I thought I heard you say you're afraid to disobey or defy royal rules?
We damn and ram royal rules.
I thought I heard you say that the mere name of a puny port town gives you woozy willies.
I assure you, our willies are not woozy. Not ever.
I thought I heard you say that your hands are tied by a paltry piece of parchment, that you are lassoed and landlocked by one lousy letter of a Machiavellian mark.
I assure you, Roxy Rapinoe, super spy, doggy defender, on the leash only to Ludlow, I could... No, try. Damn, I'm really rusty at ad-libbed alliteration. You have my greatest respect for your skillful wordplay.
Enough play. Take me to the dread pirate rover, now!
You didn't like the air? Oh, dog, Chashan. You gone and caught it. Even a tough bitch like you. Lay low by love.
What are you on about? True love. How did you know? I suppose he told. Made a merry tale of me in your poetical pub.
He said not a word. This explains why he isn't enthralled by bar wenches or first mates. His heart is already lashed to your mast. He told me nothing.
Then how?
That is the only reason anyone would be foolish enough to draw a sword on me on my own ship.
Oh, are we going to have a sword fight now?
He digs through pages on the table, a mix of script pages and maps. After a moment, she helps.
I don't think so. I think the big sword fight's in the next scene. If I'm in it, I've got the long sword on stage.
He wanders off.
Oh, props master!
Lights down. Setting, exterior, on the main deck of the ship, the Double Dog Dare. A warm, clear day. A Jolly Rover flag, similar to a Jolly Roger flag, but with a dog's skull instead of a human's, and a plank with the ship's name painted on it. Deck should have at least 2 large crates they can jump upon, and the deck should have other nautical props they can interact with as they sword fight.
Good luck, you scallywags! May true love prevail!
Roxy boards ship at lights up. Dread Pirate Rover is on deck, striking various poses, trying to find the most dashing one. He wears a half mask that covers the top half of his head, a high-collared, embroidered cape, a white cravat and matching sash, a bandolier, and high-heeled boots, all very flashy and impractical. He also wears a belted sword and wineskin across one shoulder. Roxy wears her black musketeer uniform, including a belted sword.
Roxy! Fancy meeting you here.
Roadhouse.
Dread Pirate Rover.
Oh, dear dog. A ship named Double Dog Dare, flying the black flag with a doggy version of the Jolly Roger? This is a fanciful farce.
Do you always start conversations this way?
Hardly ever.
We call the flag the Jolly Rover because of the canine skull above the 2 crossed bones. It strikes fear in the hearts of sailors more deeply than the Jolly Roger and Blackbeard himself ever did.
Fiercer than Blackbeard, really? And you named the flag after yourself? By the hounds of Cubers, I do the world a favor when I say, you are under arrest for crimes against the Queen, the Crown, and the canine world.
She pulls her sword and flourishes it.
En garde!
He pulls his sword, a fence throughout most of the rest of the scene, starting slow and lazy, gradually building up to ever more fancy footwork and intense.
The name thing was just a happy coincidence. What nom de guerre better conveys dog kind?
Spot?
Spot is a puppy's name. You can just see the pup gamboling around a bunch of 5-year-old humans as they play Ring Around the Rosie. It doesn't have the ominous gravitas that a pirate name needs.
Given that your proverbial pup is having a grand old time as the children sing a song about the bubonic plague, I'd say Spot is at least as terrifying as the name Rover.
Not if you put the words Dread Pirate in front of it.
Any name would sound scary if you proceeded with that.
Hardly. There's nothing scary about the name Dread Pirate Fluffy.
Au contraire, cats named Fluffy have terrifying talents and aren't afraid to use them. I've had more than a few run-ins with femme fatale felines. They really ought to join the Spanish Inquisition.
No one expects Spaniards. Ha!
Yes, well, I say ha to your half mask, your high-collared embroidered cape, your white cravat and matching sash, and that ridiculous bandolier. We won't even mention your high-heeled boots.
The costume designer whipped this up just for me, said it matches my natural coloring. Don't you think it's very handsome? That I'm very handsome?
I think it's entirely impractical and completely unsuited for your job. You're lucky the lanyards and lines have not caught on your finery and frills. You could hang yourself just walking across the deck.
Would you mourn my passing?
Not for a moment.
Not even an itty-bitty moment.
Absolutely not.
You'd shed not one tear for the lovely and lusty memories of our dangerous liaison, for our steamy histoire d'amour?
My eyes would remain as dry as a desert coyote's in a Texas dust storm.
Your words are as prickly as a cactus spine, but still, once I was yours and you were mine.
Don't give me climbing couplets. You think me so easily wooed? Perhaps long ago I was. I was a fool to fall for you. But you taught me that lesson well. I've succumbed to no one since you.
So your heart is available.
No,
Are you quite sure?
serenely certain.
Because it seems to me you've kept your heart free for me.
Me and me? You cannot use the same word for the entrines in a climbing couplet. It seems to me that you are out of practice in the language of love.
Well, perhaps you'd like to retire to my quarters where we could run love lines while sipping wine.
If I needed rehearsal, it wouldn't be with you.
He does a spin during swordplay and pulls a bouquet out of his cape and presents it to her. She can't help but sniff it and soften, but then tosses it away.
Then who?
Why are you trying to woo me? It was you who abandoned my bed. You sired a litter, then left me in a lurch in the loft.
I knew not about the litter. You did not send a letter. You thought leaving me in the dark was better?
They roll away from each other, out of reach of each other's swords for the moment.
It was you who left me in the dark without a sniff or a kiss.
Would waking you to say goodbye as I fled a few steps ahead of my pursuers have hurt you any less?
Yes,
You wound me deeply.
life is pain, Captain. Anyone who says differently is selling something.
But puppies, I did not realize you were in heat.
Was your nose as dead as your heart?
My pursuers had scent bombed me with cinnamon. Everything smelled like pastry for days.
I thought you spent an unusually long time licking me that night. I was bathed in slaughter.
Ah, my sweet, that night you tasted a cinnamon rolls, cinnamon palmiers, pet
I get your meaning.
A brief pause for refreshment.
They pause the fight. Both are panting. He offers her a sip from his wineskin. Both imbibe more than once.
I'm a sire then. The pups. What did you name them?
Indigo, Engelbert, Max, Minnie, and Fezzy Wezzy.
Fezzy Wezzy?
The clerk at the Royal Pedigree was either hard of hearing or bad at spelling, possibly both.
That would explain at least two of the names.
Indeed.
No Humperdinck then.
I hate that name.
As do I, if I may ask. What became of our pups?
Our pups? On guard, you cur! What care you? Neither you nor I wanted your name on their pedigrees.
You introduced them to court without revealing their patrilineage? The queen's gone soft, or soft in the head.
The queen's mind is just fine. Ludlow came up.
Ludlow. Of course you ran to him.
Jealous?
Yes, I mean, I'm more handsome than him and winsome, don't you agree?
Cheeky monkey.
I suppose he does have more power, more privilege, and a longer lifespan to offer. I guess if you like those sorts of things.
What I like is that Ludlow can be counted on in a crisis. He found a would-be sire of exquisite pedigree that looked enough like you that busybodies would not suspect our chicanery.
If this would-be sire is such an upstanding fellow, why did he agree to that chicanery?
Gambling debt, what else?
I probably held several of his markers. I played poker better than even that old card shark, the Prince of Wales. Had games several nights a week while I was in Paris that trip. I can sniff a mark a mile away.
Except when you've been scent bombed. What matters is that my pups debuted at the season's last puppy ball. and each found excellent liege lords and ladies. Which brings me to the heart of my puppy ball mission. Milk bones.
Are you hungry? Where are my manners? I can have cook rustle something scrumptious up. My quarters await. We can snack on milk bones while we wait.
The queen will have you bound and quartered if you do not relinquish the haul of liver-flavored milk bones you stole from off the ship, the queen's feast.
Only the liver-flavored ones?
They are the queen's favorite dog treat, though I'm sure I'll be richly rewarded if I supplement that with all the other flavors you stole. Then, of course, there's the bounty on your head, which will make me a rich bitch indeed.
Will that bounty warm your heart?
It will not warm my heart, but it will lay me in the lap of luxury. I will feast on the finest food in all Europe. I will sleep on a fluffy bed, under fluffier blankets, and have a pirate's chest full of treats and toys. I'll go on walksies 6 times a day, and have a personal human whose only job is to rub my tummy upon the back.
The day I left you, I rue, but this path too will destroy what makes you, you.
What are you No, your bladder does not matter. And speaking in the rhyming triplets will just take us through the looking glass and down that private hole.
She hops on a crate to tower over him.
Surrender your sword and take me to the Poochie plunder.
He jumps up on a different crate.
What if I surrendered my heart instead? All those things you said the queen would give you, I could give you too. Happily, wholeheartedly, and you'd have a lagniappe of a lifetime supply of
Big sword flourish.
liver-flavored milk bones.
She does a sword maneuver that causes him to lose his balance and jump off the crate. She jumps off and pursues him. Sword clash continues.
Have you considered piracy? You'd make a wonderful dread pirate Roxy. You could captain the fleet's fastest ship and be the pirate queen.
I'll explain, and I'll use small words so that you understand. None of those things are yours to give, other than a fickle heart, and that I have no use for. These things you promise me, all this booty and pirate crown. Jean Lafitte is the pirate king, and I do not want him for a liege lord either.
Jean's a good fellow and does what I tell him.
Really, it's like that.
I swear by the Jolly Rover.
As if the word of a pirate, a mangy, rangy cur, has any worth.
They slide their swords together down to the hilts. Their faces are nearly touching. They glower and snarl at each other. Then he licks her face and he his sword.
Dog germs! Cooties! Why don't you do that?
To prove that my heart is not fickle, it has belonged only ever to you. You still taste sweet of cinnamon, and I've not been scent-bombed recently.
You left me.
I did. I ran far and fast and joined a pirate ship that would take me an ocean away, so I could not give in to my temptation to return to you. Now you have come to me, so it must be fated. We belong together.
What? Your words make no sense. Perhaps more wine will help. Toss it over.
He tosses the wineskin. She takes a long sip from it.
We must work together to forge a path where I once saw only impenetrable brambles. I escaped the dungeon of doom, swam through a swarm of madrigal singing mores, scaled the bluffs of delirium, blazed my way through the conflagration mire. Literally, it left me singed bald. All to protect you.
Protect me? Ha! I faced all the same dangers. But, as Ginger Rogers would say, I did it backwards and in heels.
I did it in high heels too.
Lights fade, a blue spot on her for this soliloquy. She walks to, then sits on the crate or a wine barrel.
The greatest danger I ever faced was to my heart. Just once I let my guard down, and after a lovely roll in the hay or two, All right, it was 4 times at least. Then you plucked my heart out of my breast in our love nest. It snapped every heartstring I had. They never grew back. I thought maybe they would, but you took my heart to Miracle Minnie, had her turn it into a faded rose-colored crystal, then smashed it against the paved stones below my window. The shards pricked my paws each time I passed through the door. Thinking of that night when you carried me through it, that night felt like a fairy tale. But it had a grim ending, at least for me. For you, it was just a laugh.
There was no laughter, I swear. I broke your heart and mine when I left.
Lights fade up as they square off, fatigued. Swords are still drawn, but the points drag on the ground.
Then why did you?
Because I'd rather break your heart than destroy your soul.
And because there were pursuers hot on your trail?
That is why I had to run, yes. I was sorely tempted to beg you to come with me, but for us to be together, you'd have to betray Queen, country, and Ludlow. You might have been fine for a while.
He sets his sword aside.
We had many lovely ways of passing time.
She sets her sword aside.
We are not cats, but we have one life to live on this earth. That betrayal would have eaten you from the inside out. I could not do that to your soul. I'd rather live alone in a world with you an ocean away from me than live with you by my side while that betrayal sapped the soul from your angelic body. I could not have that as my legacy.
A pirate worried about the luster of his legacy. Ha! I am no angel. If I have wings, they are tarnished and rusted. If I had wings, I could have gotten here faster. I didn't mind the swimming, but I hate madrigals. I'm not really a fan of any church music. The climb was difficult, but I didn't mind the flowers the giant threw at me. They're softer than rocks, and smelled pretty as they fell past me.
If your wings are tarnished, dare I hope the tarnish might have smudged out some of that fierce righteousness that bound you so tightly to the crown? Dare I hope the rust has eaten away at your chain that the law and Ludlow hold in their hands?
Chains? I am not Marley's ghost, bound in chains. I was proud to work for the law and Ludlow. It is my life's mission, was my life's mission. This will be my last. I have neither the heart nor stomach for the work anymore. I have one mess to clean up, one failure to atone for. If I apprehend you, the scales that weigh my soul will be balanced.
Now who's worried about their lustrous legacy, my lady?
Fine lady, does that make you the tramp?
Not in this story. In this story, I'm Westerly.
More like Prince Hunter Doodledink.
You wound me.
Fine, you can be Indigo Motorola.
I tell you, I am Westerly in our little play because Westerly marries the Princess Bride.
A matrimonial proposal in front of all these people?
Perhaps they'll witness their first doggy wedding.
Don't count on it. Doggy weddings are all the rage these days.
With humans in attendance?
Mostly humans, I tell you.
That's rather like the third groomsman hosting a wedding party celebrating his role. Speaking of which, who should we get for first stud and who shall stand up with you?
He reaches out a paw gently. After a moment's hesitation, she takes it and allows him to pull her close.
The children, of course.
Are you sure they'd risk a scandal attending a wedding between one of the ladies in waiting to the Queen's second favorite dog and a pirate king?
I'm sorry, was it Jean Lafitte who proposed to me?
I'm the king of the canine pirates. He of the humans and mostly humans.
So I moved from one royal retinue to another. The children will come disguised in costume, of course. I have enough chests of costumes to fill the ship's hold and then some. The children have always loved donning disguises, and I taught them well in all the arts one needs to deceive, inveigle, and obfuscate.
We could be the first family of pirates.
Let's not get carried away.
So that's a yes. Will you say yes?
He drops to one knee and holds up a fancy bejeweled dog collar.
Only if you give me back the liver-flavored milk bones.
She pulls him to his feet.
As you wish.
He dips her for a kiss.
Let me introduce to you the Ludlow Charlington players. They are Richard Schwedick, Joe James, Nathan Robb, Anthony from Lonnie, and Ambrosia Rose. I'd also like to give a big shout out to our stage manager. Without whom this show would not have happened, Sean Martin. Everyone in this show, and then for all the tasks of writing and making the book and in making this show, it's all been volunteer. All the money raised from our book, all our proceeds go directly to Friends of Chicago Animal Care and Control. They are a 501c3. So far we have raised $173. We'd love to double that this month, and with your help we can. The book is only $5.99, the price of a beer or a fancy jumbo-sized coffee, and the money will literally save a dog's life. It's available at Amazon as an ebook. You can search by it by name or grab the QR code off your playbill, or search on tinyurl.com/bow-wow. Another round of applause, please, for our cast and crew. Thank you all for coming.
The Charlington players, yeah.